Hello everyone, I'm Anastasia. I welcome you all to this new session of Fundamental of Nursing. So in our previous session, as we have discussed about the urinary elimination, there we have got a clear idea of the urinary system, right? We've come to know that this consists of the kidney, of the urethra, of the bladder, as well as the ureters, right? And we have also come to know that these major components, along with some accessory structures such as the ring-shaped muscles called the internal or the external splinters, will work together in order to produce urine collected and then excreted from the body, right? There we have also got a detailed idea about each and every organ, about the kidney, the ureters, the bladder and the urethra, how they work, how they function, and how does this cause this process of urination. And as we have also discussed about the act of urination, in this session we will be discussing about the urine specimen collection. So here, why do we collect the urine specimen? We do this in order to get an idea of the output of the patient, and this is also done for various diagnostic purposes, right? So here, whenever you are collecting the urine specimen, there are 4 specimens that you can collect: voided specimen, the clean catch specimen, the catheter specimen, or even the 24-hour specimen. So what is this voided specimen? This voided specimen is a sample of the fresh urine which will be collected in a clean container. And for this, the first voided specimen of the day is preferred because it is more likely to contain the substantial urinary component that have accumulated during the night. So here, from the name itself, you can understand, right? Voided specimen. So this is a fresh specimen which will be taken in a clean container. And when we say a voided specimen, then here it is advised that this must be taken firstly as soon as a person wakes up from sleep, because it is believed that it most likely contained a substantial urinary component that has been accumulated during the night. The second one is the clean catch specimen. So this is a voided sample of the urine, which is considered sterile and is sometimes called the midstream urine because of the way it is collected. So in order to get a clear idea of what this clean catch urine or the midstream urine is, we will be discussing it in a further slide. However, when this urine is being collected, then it must be properly labeled and directly taken to the lab. And the third one is the catheter specimen. So this specimen is mainly collected from those patients who are under catheterization, right? So here what we will be doing is that we will be collecting the urine specimen under sterile condition using a catheter. Here the nurse can also aspirate the sample through the lumen of a latex catheter or even from a self-sealing port. So this is how the catheter specimen can be collected. Now moving on to the last one, which is the 24-hour specimen. So this, from the name itself, you can understand, right, that it is a urine specimen which will be collected for 24 hours. So here what we will be doing is, by the use of a jug, we will be keeping it, and whenever we urinate during the 24 hours, we must make sure that we collect that urine in the jug. And after it has been collected, we must label it and then send it to the laboratory for analysis. So these are the 4 common specimens which will be collected. That is the voided specimen, the clean catch, the catheter, or the 24-hour urine specimen, right? However, since I have said that this is mainly done for the diagnostic purpose, so depending on the condition of the person as well as the reason for which this urine is collected will be different from one person to the other, right? However, since I have said that these urine specimens are mainly collected for the diagnostic purpose of the patient, right? So here, depending on the condition and also depending on the reason for why this is been collected, then the way which we will be telling, or the method which we will be telling the patient to collect their specimen might be different from one person to the other. For example, like here we can tell them to collect the random specimen, where this random specimen is mainly done for any chemical or microscopic examination. So here, when you tell your patient to collect the random specimen, then this this urine specimen can be collected at any point of time as it is convenient for the patient. So here again, from the name itself, you can understand, right? Random. So at any point of time, this urine specimen can be collected. It is not necessary that it must only be collected in the morning or in the night or, before food. But here, when you say random specimen, then this means that the urine can be collected at any given point of time as it is convenient for the patient. And this is mainly done if any chemical or microscopic examination must be done, as well as it is also suitable for any screening purpose. And the second one is the first morning specimen or the 8-hour specimen. So here, if the patient is advised to collect this specimen, then, he must collect it as soon as he gets up from bed or as soon as he awakes from his night sleep. This may be used to accommodate the insomniacs, the night shift workers, as well as in certain pediatric situations. So for those patients who needs to collect this first morning specimen, it is very important that we must educate them that they first must empty their bladder before they go to sleep. That is during the night time before they get to bed. They must first empty the bladder, and then as soon as they wake up early in the morning, they must collect the specimen. And if there is any urine which is voided during the night, then this must be collected and pooled with the first morning voided specimen. And the next one is the fasting specimen. So here this differs from the first morning specimen by being the second voided specimen after a period of fasting. So here, if a person needs to collect his fasting specimen, then you must educate that particular person not to have anything. So here it is also important that, if they sleep and then they get up early in the morning, they should not have anything. And here, just as we have seen that in the first morning specimen, as soon as they get up, you must tell them to collect the specimen, right? However, if it is the fasting specimen, then here, as soon as they get up, they must empty their bladder, and then when they will be emptying the bladder the second time, this specimen must be collected. And here it is very important that we must keep on educating them. We must keep on reminding them that they should not have anything until and unless they collect this specimen. The next is the 2-hour postprandial specimen. So here what we will be doing is we will be advising the patient to void shortly before he or she eats his or her own routine meal, and then to collect a specimen 2 hours after eating. So here, for example, if a person has his meal at 12 o'clock, then here what we will be telling the person is, we will be telling him that he must first empty his bladder before he have his meal, and soon after he have finished having his meal, he must collect his specimen 2 hours after. For example, if a person consumes his routine meal at 12 o'clock, then what we will be doing is, we will be telling that person to empty his bladder before he have his meal, and soon after he have his meal at 2 o'clock, he must, collect the specimen. That is 2 hours after meal. Moving on to the next one, which is the 24-hour or the time specimen. So in order to obtain an accurately timed specimen, here it is very important that we must begin as well as end the collection period with an empty bladder. So as we have discussed in the 24-hour specimen, even here we will be doing the same. That is, we will be collecting all the urine which we will be voiding for a period of 24 hours. That is, we will be keeping a jug, and each and every urine which we will be excreting, we will be collecting it in this jug, and then we will be labeling it and also, hand it over to the nurse, or the nurse must send it to the laboratory for analysis. The next is the catheterized specimen. So here this specimen is collected under the sterile condition by passing a hollow tube through the urethra into the bladder. Or if just a sample is required, then here we can also aspirate the sample through the lumen of a latex catheter or even through the self-sealing port. And the next one is the midstream or the clean catch urine. So the specimen which will be collected by this method provides a safer as well as it is a less traumatic method for obtaining urine for any bacterial culture. It also offers a more representative and a less contaminated specimen for performing any microscopic analysis as compared to the random specimen. However, before you advise the patient to collect this clean catch or the midstream urine, you must make sure that you provide the adequate cleansing material as well as the sterile container for which the patient will be able to collect the urine. So as I've said that we will be providing them the adequate cleansing material and the sterile container, right? So here what we will be telling them to do is, with the use of these cleansing material, we must advise them to clean the area, and after it has been cleaned, then they must urinate, and while urinating, they must first start, then they must stop in between, and then collect the specimen required in the sterile container, after which again they can, fully empty their bladder. So this is how they will be collecting the clean catch or the midstream urine. Now moving on to the next, which is the suprapubic aspiration. So here the urine will be collected by the external introduction of the needle into the bladder. By doing this, it helps the specimen to be free from any extraneous contamination, as well as it may be used for any cytologic examination. And the next is the pediatric specimen. So this is a sterile specimen which will be collected by catheterization or even by the suprapubic aspiration. The general random specimen may also be collected by attaching a soft as well as a clear plastic bag with the use of an adhesive to the general areas of both the boys and girls. So these are the various specimens that can be collected depending on the type of specimen which is required, as well as the purpose for which this specimen is collected. So after all the specimen has been collected, it must be properly labeled, and it must be delivered within 2 hours of collection or refrigerated and transported to the lab as soon as possible. So here, these are the various ways through which the urine specimen can be collected. So now here we have come to the end of this topic, whereby in today's session we have dealt with a very small topic, which is the urine specimen collection, where we have come to know that usually there are 4 specimen, which is the voided specimen, the clean catch or the midstream specimen, the catheter specimen, as well as the 24-hour specimen. And we have also discussed about the various types of specimen which can be collected depending on the condition and depending on the purpose of the collection of the specimen. So I hope you have got a clear understanding of the topic. I'll be meeting you in another session where we will be dealing with the culture of the urine specimen. So until then, have a good day. Thank you.